Joe, and I'm one of the deacons here, and just want to wish everyone that's a mother Happy Mother's Day. As you guys know, the deaconship group has been asked to listen to a sermon by Eugene Peterson, and it's called Practicing Resurrection Wonder. Today was Mother's Day, but about 4 weeks ago was Easter, and Easter, if you're a follower of Jesus, is a really important day for us all. And I think one of the challenges, and the reality is, we typically just celebrate Easter that one day, when truly we should be finding that joy in Christ in every day. Reading the sermon, it was, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these, they're called gospel revival tents. So it's basically the people go in and they preach the gospel pretty heavily and they convert to Christ. And so Eugene Peterson, described an interesting and almost ideal situation would be fall to your knees, find God, walk out, get hit by a Mack truck, and go straight to heaven. And that is in some ways a pretty ideal situation, but unfortunately it's not through our reality. And he goes on to say, because of that, there'd be no time to backslide, no temptation to deal with, no spouse to have to honor, and no enemies to love. So when I think of resurrection and I think of joy, and I'm trying to identify with myself, so one of the things I thought about were one of the things that don't get any joy. The first thing that popped in my head was time. So I think most of you would probably agree with me. I just never feel like I have enough time in a day just to get things that have to get done. And then if I was to look into that a little further, so most of my time, most of your time, I would imagine, if you're not students, is at work. So work is definitely, for me personally, just been very tough for the last couple of years, primarily because I'm working for a company that was taken over by another company, so there's been a lot of changes. So work has been just taking a lot of my time, and it's been super challenging for me as well as my family. So it's trying to find those joys around having to work and understand what work looks like in God's context as well. So when I look at joy, so I find a lot of joy in people smiling or making people laugh. I also find joy in my wife because she actually likes me, and actually she's always there to just keep our lives centered amidst all the craziness in my life, especially around the work situation. And the other joy I find is, just kind of with hanging out with kids. I don't know, I think my wife says I'm like a kid. I sometimes agree. But kids give me a lot of joy just because they're really pure and innocent. And even though I was to look back this year, one day when I was teaching Sunday school, Audrey just came up to me and just gave me this big hug. It was unexpected. Just brought this big smile through my day. And it just made me realize, amidst the craziness of life, there's always opportunities to find joy. God always gives you these opportunities. So in saying that, so what am I doing? What am I doing with this? So how am I taking action? So we're all busy, but I know that there is definitely time in our days. So I wanted to just do a little test with you guys that have iPhones. If you do, you pull them out, if you could please, and go into your settings. And I think under settings, there's something called screen time. Are you guys there yet? Is anybody there yet? Okay, so on screen time, I guess it'll show you what your day looks like in a day. But if you can actually go to what it looks like in a week, the last 7 days, So I'm not going to pick on anyone, and I'm not going to, I mean, it's just there for you guys to see like where you're spending your time. And for me, I'm critical, like I feel like I never have time, but truly there is time. And last week, at men's group, Pastor Zeta gave us a little exercise, and that was to actually pray for the next 2 weeks, but not just pray, but pray for 10 minutes. And I think when we all heard that, we're like, okay, how are we going to do that? It's going to be super challenging. So it was super challenging. And I also maybe realized that, if I was going to do this right, I actually wanted to give God the best part of my day. And that was, for me, it's in the morning. Typically in the morning, the first thing is like, what do I have to do today? It's like, everything is like, I got to do this, do this, do this, do this. And, it's almost like, okay, I'm going to put time to spend with God when I have that opportunity. And so in this exercise, I really just try to spend the first part of my morning just in prayer. And it's been super, super challenging. I actually have to break it down to like 2-5 minutes and different things just to try to get through it. But it's amazing what you start praying for. I think I've probably prayed for most of you guys here at some point during this last few days. So, just in saying that, so what have I learned? What have I learned? I think, work is part of God's creation, and so is the Sabbath. So it's really important that you understand that, and that you actually spend some time in the Sabbath to experience the joy that God provides us, and the opportunities. And also, whatever that looks like is you've seen what kind of time you spend on your phones. I just encourage you maybe to spend that time with God. And I think it's just, I think with anything, so the third part of it, like it's, the series is called Practicing Resurrection Wonder. So that's the third part, is practicing. And anything that you want to be good at, I see these guys up here playing the piano and guitar, and you know what, they're great because they put a lot of practice in it. And I think that, to walk in our faith, we need to put practice in there as well. So I just wanted to end with a couple quotes. One was from Eugene Peterson, and that is, Sabbath is not about us, it's about how God forms us. And for me personally, like through the exercise of the prayer, for me it was actually just trying to be still and just be in the moment. So the verse that sort of stood out for me was from Psalm 46:10, and it's, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations, and I will be exalted in the earth." That's Psalm 46:10. Thank you.